It's almost like a piece of art. Like creating a library is like creating art, because there's a lot in here that's filler. That for what I'm trying to say doesn't. It's just kind of get rid of it. So it really could be condensed down more, believe it or not.
But this is all in your head, like.
Yeah, it's become a part of my nervous system.
And this information doesn't exist until you perceive it. So it's like the moment you open it up, that's when it comes to life. So you making up a lot of this, and he's making up you up.
Yeah,
so
right. It's the attraction.
Yeah.
Sensing, feeling, and
it's
action.
Like almost like music too. It's like the moment.
It's an interaction.
Yeah. Without the nervous system, there's no music. So when I was going to talk about the tree falling yesterday, the sound, what the definition of sound really is, the sound is a brain, tree, and the wave. The interaction is what sound is. It's not a thing. It's a process.
Right.
So consciousness is not a noun. I don't think. Mind is not a noun. It's not a thing. It's a process.
It's a happening.
It's a verb. Yeah. It's a happening. So.
The Taoists call it the Tao, which means the way.
Yeah. It's
basically just what's happening. It's just the way. It's the way. As it's happening, you ask questions. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's just the way. It's the way.
It's time. Time is what it is. Time is the. So Heidegger, the philosopher, he wrote a book called.
I know who he is.
Yeah, you know who he is, but he wrote a book called Time and Being. He said being, our existence, like it's time. Time makes up our existence. So the flow, that's time. Time is time river.
Action. It's moving.
Yeah,
it's dynamic.
It's a dynamic process. That's what a person is. That's what the ego is.
And like you said before, there really is no before time, and there really is no after time. All time really is now. It's all been done, and it's all had been done.
And you know what's more interesting is Sartre. You know Sartre, right? Sartre, the philosopher, Sartre. Sartre, he's influenced by Heidegger, and he wrote a book after Heidegger, and it's called Being and Nothingness. He said being is nothing. Heidegger said being is time, and Sartre said being is nothingness. He says our existence, our consciousness itself, like you say, it's a mirror, so it's nothing. It's nothing. It's a nothingness until it's reflected off of somewhere.
And that's why they said time, because time is almost like a reflection for us. We can calculate it, but the attachment to time makes it impure. The true pureness is in the second one you said, which was
and
nothingness.
Nothingness is the state, the original state of being, of existence, of being is nothingness. And then when we have no head, when I say we have no head, I'd like to pause this video for a second now and talk about called the headless way. I was going to mention this to Elliot, but it was on the tip of my tongue, but I never got it out. I'm going to do it right now, which is kind of related. It's definitely related. What the philosophy entail is that we are all headless. What that means is that you can see everything about yourself, your body, except for your head. And for each one of us, we are headless to ourselves. Our subjective experience, when we look out into the world, we really have no head. But what we have in place of where our head is supposed to be is an opening, is a portal. What this portal does is that it allows the world, it allows the universe to disclose itself through us, to live through us, to this empty space, right? So that's basically what I was talking about when I said that consciousness is nothing. Well, for you, the head, this place where the head is that nothingness. It's a reflection of other things, which makes it up for its lack. Okay, so if I'm like, let me give you a concrete example of what I'm talking about here. If I'm looking at you right now, if I'm facing you right now, in place of my head is your head, right? And you can say that about you too, right? When you look at me, you don't have a head, but you have my head, right, in place of it. So we are really disclosing each other's heads. We are holding each other's heads within the empty space subjectively, so that, as I said, the ego, the you and I, right, the yin and yang are a process of arising, this process of bouncing off, reflecting off of each other. So think about that for a second. I don't have a head, so you can have a head, right? In place of my head, it's an empty space, an opening that allows the world to show itself. And when I say we have no head, that's the closest you come of it. It's like you're your head, but it's nothing. It's nothing for you.
This is all happening, but it's nothing because I can't see.
Right? It's nothing. It's a reflection of what's around you, but it itself is nothingness. So the consciousness itself, it basically is nothingness.
It's constantly
but
being made.
But then, again, it can't be just nothing, because there's no such thing as a nothing. So it's constantly reflecting off of something. Yeah. So nothingness is still, you know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a cool analogy. It's nothingness. And Tao also talks about that.
Well, I'm trying to do it from Alan Watts. I'm trying to do it from...
he's probably... for that.
You know, he would basically say that, you know, the value of a window is that it's nothing.
Yeah.
We love this window.
Yeah, because
I love this window, but really...
It's a window. It's a portal into yourself.
Right, it's nothing. It's the empty spaces, even with music. So music, the beauty of music, I've heard once said, is found in the empty spaces.
Yeah. The space makes up what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the space.
The difference between the two notes is the definition of that note.
It's not that nothingness and somethingness, or you know,
it's the relationship. You can't just say
it's better nothing. Or worse.
Yeah. Nothing doesn't exist until unless there's something. So
right.
it's not just the space. It's the two thing between the space that defines the space.
Right.
So the nothingness is always. It's always
two things.
Yeah, it's two things, but and it's always like it's always it's a process that's going and it grows out.
Our problem is we like to attach to one without the other.
Yeah.
Because that duality we spoke about yesterday then shows up everywhere in nature. There's two of everything.
Yeah.
And it boils one of our biggest dilemmas boils down to good versus evil. And to believe that, okay, well, you call it good, so that must be the one I want, and I should reject evil, is the biggest fallacy. It's foolhardily. You're stupid. You can't just have good and reject bad, because it's one thing. So you have to embrace evil as much as you embrace good, because God is both.